So recently, Nintendo announced on social media that they were going to be doing a presentation for the Switch, but we had no idea what Nintendo had cooking up for the Switch. However, Nintendo did state on this upcoming presentation this was going to be geared towards kids and kids alike. So we can pretty much rule out that it wasn't going to be for gamers, any type of gamers, whether you're a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer. We knew this wasn't going to be for gamers. This was pretty much going to be geared towards kids and kids at heart. So we had no idea what Nintendo was cooking up. But when we finally found out what Nintendo had in store for the Nintendo Switch, I don't think nobody could have predicted this, and I think a lot of people were surprised at what Nintendo had in store for the Nintendo Switch. Honestly, I was one of those people that was pretty surprised at what Nintendo was doing, so I wasn't expecting this, but at the same time, I'm not surprised Nintendo did something like this, because if you know Nintendo, ever since the Nintendo Wii, that Nintendo doesn't like doing the traditional gaming with the controller. Out of the big three gaming companies, ever since the Nintendo Wii, they always started to branch off from the traditional gaming with the controller. For instance, the Wii had motion controls, the Wii U had a gamepad, the 3DS had 3D, the Nintendo Switch, of course, is a hybrid, and also the DS does have dual screen. So you can see, ever since the Wii, Nintendo started branching away from your traditional gaming with a controller. So I'm not surprised Nintendo did this. I just really wasn't expecting this project altogether. So what is this project Nintendo has cooking up for the Nintendo Switch? Well, it's called Nintendo Labo. And what is Nintendo Labo? Well, Nintendo Labo is pretty much cardboard projects for the Nintendo Switch. When we first saw the trailer reveal for Nintendo Labo, we had this person building something out of cardboard. They were making a piano, and then on the piano they have the Joy-Cons going into the piano, and on the front of the piano they have their Switch in the middle of the piano, and you can actually play the piano, and as you're playing the piano on the Nintendo Switch's screen, you can see them playing notes and hear the notes that you're playing from the cardboard piano. They also have a fishing rod, and on the fishing rod you can see them actually fishing with the Joy-Con in the fishing pole, and then on the outside we have the Switch outside in horizontal mode. It's kind of like a lake. They're using that as a lake. And then we also got other stuff, like I think that somebody was controlling like a grasshopper with the Nintendo Switch, and you can see that the Joy-Con was kind of like a mechanical like grasshopper, and you can control with your Nintendo Switch. They also had a robot where this kid puts on a robot to his back and straps all this cardboard onto himself, and then he pretends he's punching in the game, and in the game he's actually punching. So this is kind of also kind of like VR for the Nintendo Switch in a way. It's not your traditional VR where you put a headset over you and you go around, but this can kind of feel like VR because some of this stuff is kind of like taking cardboard and then putting it into the world, taking it and putting it into digital form, kind of like Amiibo or some of those other toys to life things as well, where they actually end up taking toys and putting them into video games. This is kind of the same thing. I just really don't think nobody was really expecting this from Nintendo. Now I know a lot of people are going to be on either two camps for this Nintendo Labo thing. Some people are going to hate this thing and say it's complete trash and say Nintendo is not innovative and say this thing's going to fail. And then there's other people who say this is very innovative and something that's really good for the company. Honestly, if you ask me about Nintendo Labo and what do I think of Nintendo Labo, I think Nintendo Labo is actually a great deal, because right now they really don't have anything on the Nintendo Switch geared towards kids or creative people. So this is a great way to get kids interested in learning and get kids interactive with stuff instead of just playing your traditional game on a screen, some kind of screen, whether that's being the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode or the Nintendo Switch on the actual TV. I think this is a great way for kids to interact with stuff, and this is a good way to get kids to explore their creativity. Honestly, I think this is a very good deal, and honestly, Nintendo's not going to go back to their old ways like with the Wii U and the Wii, where they started mostly geared a lot of their stuff towards the kids. I think that they're in a state now where they're looking at the Nintendo Switch and they realize that the Nintendo Switch is really selling well, and their marketing is really geared towards the gamers, the older crowd as well. So I don't think they're going to shy away from that demographic. I still think that when this Nintendo Labo thing comes out, this is pretty much going to be a thing on the side, and they'll still focus on the hardcore stuff. The Nintendo Switch is still going to be about the hardcore gamers. They're not going to switch, because right now if they decided to switch, get it switched to the casual gamers and start doing a lot of things like this, like they did in the past with the Wii and Wii U. I just don't think that would actually work out, and they're in a good position, so why would they want to change their strategy right now? Overall, I think this is a very good project for Nintendo. I think it's a very creative thing as well. I just never really expected this. Of course, it'll depend when the final retail version comes out how well this project actually does and how well the cardboard will hold up, because this could be a make or break it type of deal for this Nintendo Labo project, just because if the cardboard's not strong enough, or if the gameplay is not good enough with these, this could easily fail. And one thing I did have to take mention about this thing, which some of you guys may not be aware of, they actually revealed the date and pricing of this whole Nintendo Labo type thing. We still need more information on this whole thing just because we don't have too much information on the gameplay. We've seen some gameplay on some of the games on the actual Nintendo Labo trailer, but we still need more information. Now the thing is, with the Nintendo Labo project that Nintendo is working on, this thing is very, very expensive. For most people who actually go ahead and look at the price of this thing, they'll be like, this thing is very expensive. I have the two prices up here on my phone. They're called Toy-Cons. One's a Toy-Con Variety Kit and one's a Toy-Con Robot Kit. So if you just want to use the robot itself, you will have to buy the Toy-Con Robo Kit as a separate thing. But the Toy-Con Variety Kit is where you'll be able to build everything. It looks like from the Toy-Con Variety Pack, you do get the piano, you do get the fishing pole, and you also get I think a RC car type deal, and then you also get a house to play with. So you get a little bit more variety with the Toy-Con Variety Kit, and then of course with the Robot Kit you only get the robot itself. Now the release dates for both of these packages are going to be April 20th, 2018. So they're coming out this April, which is very nice. And they're going to be for the Nintendo Toy-Con Variety Kit. It's going to cost you, get it, a whopping $70. Yes, for the Variety Kit. And for the Robot Kit alone, the Toy-Con Robot Kit, it's going to cost you $80. So these things aren't going to be cheap at all. But you have to realize with these variety kits for the Nintendo Labo, they are going to be including software. And if you take in consideration a normal price game for any console, those usually run $60. So you put that $60 on top of all the cardboard that you're going to have to be paying for, then I think it's an A-okay deal. But honestly, it's still kind of pricey for a lot of people, especially if they're going to go buy this. Can they justify the price of buying a $60 game and on top of that buying cardboard? Because we know cardboard can't cost too much for Nintendo to actually produce. So I can kind of see where people are like, this thing's really expensive, but I can buy another game for $60, and it's a very fun idea. Where this thing is still a new concept. People still don't know a lot about this thing, and they're kind of on the fence about this thing. But overall, I think this is a good idea. Honestly, if this thing actually does well, I can actually see Nintendo working on other stuff for the Nintendo Labo, not just these two sets. I know at the very moment they only have those two sets out, but I can see Nintendo in the future actually having more sets for this thing, and they can really get their creativity on with the Nintendo Switch. There is a lot of possibility with the Nintendo Labo idea. I think it's a very good idea. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.